Yes. Thank you very much, DP Stewart, Kiwanian Sadiki, and Chairman and Senior for assisting with the opening exercise. Welcome everyone to another meeting of the Kiwanis Club of Kingston. And this evening, of course, is our 58th anniversary meeting. Looking forward to a great meeting with some of our distinguished Kiwanians reminiscing on the club's past achievement over the last 58 years. And of course, we'll be also hearing from some of our new Kiwanians as to how this club has benefited them. And we look forward to having you all participate and taking the time out to be here with us this evening, because I know you have choices, and it is good that you make the Kiwanis Club of Kingston your choice this evening, as it is a premier club in Jamaica. But to do the official welcome and introduction, I'm going to call on President-elect Junior to do so.
Thank you, President Paul, and welcome to all our Kiwanians and guests that are with us tonight. Our very special night. It's our, as President Paul has said, it's our 58th year of service. It's our and the 58th year of Kiwanis in Jamaica. So tonight is a very special night for us, and we'll be having with us with tributes from KIT, our very special guest, KIT Hope, LG Rosemary, DLGE Lloyd, DT Judine, and DT Judine. So we'll be giving each club a chance to bring greetings, but we'll be asking the leader of each delegation just to introduce yourself and to tell us how many are in the delegation tonight. As you know, we have a very packed program, and we'll be relaxing, and you'll be hearing from some of our club members tonight. So without further ado, what I'm going to be doing is asking clubs from outside of Jamaica just to, the leader of the delegation, just introduce yourself and tell us how many are there, so we can get through the section as quickly as possible and get into business. Those clubs from outside of Jamaica, we hear from you, please. Those clubs from outside Jamaica. If not, yes, who that? Could we hear from, yes, go ahead. Is that DLG Lloyd?
No.
Just go ahead. Clubs from outside of Jamaica. If not, we'll move to Division 25. Those clubs would like to bring greetings from 25, Division 25.
Yes, good evening.
Good evening to you.
President Paul and members of the Kiwanis Club. We bring you greetings, warm greetings from the Kiwanis Club of Hopewell in Hanover. We are 3 in numbers so far, and we're expecting more to be on the call as soon as possible. And we'll update in the chat. Happy 58th anniversary. Blessings.
Thank you, and thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you for attending. Division 25. Other clubs from Division 25, 24. Division 24, clubs from Division 24. If not, we'll move to Division 23, West.
Greetings, good evening, fellow Kiwanians, good evening all. I bring you greetings from the Kiwanis Club of South St. Catherine and from President Althea. I am LGD Pauline, and currently there are 2 of us. Others will join you soon. Happy anniversary to you.
All right, thank you. Thank you for attending.
Cheers to you, and cheers to you, and cheers to a happy anniversary. Good evening, President and all the members of Kiwanis Club of Kingston. This is DP Josephine. I'm the Lone Ranger this evening. but I could not allow my parents to be having their anniversary when I'm not there. And you know, when you have children, when some of them will go away and some will stay. So I am the one of the child that stayed with you. So they said that when you are an adult, you have children, but you had us when you were 5 years old. So we are still grateful for you
Okay.
for that. So on behalf of President Shirley and the members of the Kiwanis Club of Mandeville, I bring you happy anniversary greetings from the Kiwanis Club of Mandeville. And as I said before, I'm DP Josephine. I'm glad to be here sharing with you on this year 58th anniversary. Thank you very much.
Thank you, DP, and thank you for attending. Others from Division 23 West.
Good evening, President and members of Kingston. This is DP Janet bringing you greetings on behalf of President Fred and the members of the Kiwanis Club of the Sunshine City, Portmore. Happy 58th anniversary. We have 2 members at this time, and others will be coming on shortly. They are going to do other duties.
Okay.
Thanks for having us.
Okay, thank you for attending, and we sure do welcome you.
Thank you.
Division 23 West. If not, let us move to East. Division 23 East. Division 23 East.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Secretary Latina from Kiwanis Club of South St. Andrew. I'm alone this evening, but I'm expecting others to join shortly. Have a great evening.
All right, thank you for attending, and we sure do welcome you. 23 East. Others from 23 East, sorry, 23 East. If not, we go to our own division, 23 Central. 23 Central.
Hi, good evening, PE Junior. How are you doing?
Hi, how are you doing?
On top of the world.
All right, that makes 2 of us at least.
Great, great.
Yes.
Okay, well, happy anniversary. And at the moment, well, I'm from 23 Central, sorry, online.
That's okay.
Right, and at the moment I'm alone, but I'm pretty sure we're going to have some more people joining shortly. But in the interim, happy anniversary. Thanks for inviting us and have a wonderful evening.
Okay, and thank you for attending.
Thank you.
23 Central.
President-elect Junior, this is
Yes.
LGE Hugh.
Good.
And I bring warm greetings on your 58th anniversary from the Kiwanis Club of North St. Andrew.
Right.
With me this evening are 4 other Kiwanians, and we're looking forward to an enjoyable meeting with Kingston tonight.
I'm sure it will be, and thank you for attending. 23 Central. Others from 23 Central.
Good evening. This is
Hi.
President Paula from the Kiwanis Club of West St. Andrew. Happy anniversary. Currently, I'm alone, but I'm expecting others to join.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for coming, President Paula.
P.
Thank
Junior,
you. Yes. What up?
DLG, you are distant.
I can
from
see.
23 East, and I believe there are other members from my club, downtown Kingston, either online or should be on shortly.
Right.
But, I wait for someone else to make the introduction.
Okay. Thank you, DLG. We thank you for coming, and we look forward to hearing you later in the program.
Yes, I think
23, Division 23. Any others from Division 23?
Junior,
Yes.
good
Hi,
evening,
DLG Gertrude.
Kiwanians and guests. I bring you greetings from your daughters, Kiwanis Club of New Kingston.
Yes.
I was hoping they would have introduced you, but I better do it. It is great to be on 58 years is so wonderful. And you started all this, and so we're happy to be part of your meeting. We hope you have a really, really fun and enjoyable meeting, one that will remind us that you are the leader. Thank you very much for having us. I know there's DP Judith Douglas on, there's Judith Francis, Sonia Liebert, yes. And I'm DLG Gerslin. Happy anniversary.
And thank you and your group for attending DLG, Gertrude.
Thank you very much.
Welcome you.
Bless you. Bye.
Okay. What about our SLPs? I'm sure there are some that would like to bring greetings quickly. All right, we move to our SLPs. Yes.
Good evening, everyone. Happy anniversary. I'm not a big singer, but happy birthday. Well, in this case, anniversary. I am President Deborah Heron from the St. Jude's High School Key Club, and I would just like to wish you on the behalf of the St. Jude's High School Key Club a happy anniversary. Looking forward for my great grandchildren to come about and hear about the Kiwanis Club of Kingston. Enjoy the rest of your meeting.
Thank you. Thank you. Other SLPs? Other SLPs? I'm sure there are some other SLPs that would like to come on. If not, we'll just move to the non-Kiwanians online. Are there any non-Kiwanians online? No. That would like to bring greetings. What about our prospective Kiwanians? Prospective Kiwanians online that would like to bring greetings?
I bring you greetings from the Essex Hall Primary School.
Yes.
Sovereign St. Andrew. I am Maxine Rose.
Okay, and thank you for coming.
You're welcome.
Good.
Good evening, P. Junior. Good evening, everyone. This is President Orania from the Dunoon Park Technical High School Key Club.
I know you were there.
Yes, sorry for joining late.
That's cool.
With me, I have my faculty advisor, Aldith Douglas, and we are 4 in numbers. And I just want to wish you guys a happy 50th anniversary.
Thank you, and thank you for coming as usual.
Good evening, DP Junior.
Hi, how are you?
Sorry for my late appearance. This is President Joshua. Wow, this is DP Joshua. I forgot to look at the title from the Michael University College International Club. And I want to say a happy anniversary to our lovely parent club. Here with me is DS Diana and DP Ray Thompson. We're looking forward to a wonderful meeting. Thank you for having us here.
Okay, thank you. Any others that would like to bring greetings?
Good evening. The name is Dora Henry, President-elect of the Kiwanis Club of Castries in the beautiful island of St. Lucia, the Helen of the West Indies. Happy anniversary.
All the way from across borders in the Caribbean. Thank you. Thank you for attending. Any others that would like to bring greetings? Yes.
I must say happy anniversary. I was late. So I'm sorry.
Yes, no problem.
P. Junior?
Yes.
Yeah, this is DS Philip Clark from Kiwanis Club of Downtown Kingston.
Okay.
I'm deputizing on behalf of our president office. We are 7, 8 in number at this time, and we wish you all the best on your anniversary. We know you have many more years to come, and we will be here to celebrate with you as your sons.
Yes. One up.
One up.
Yes. Thank you. And thank you for attending. Any others that would like to bring greetings at this time? Any other that would like to bring greetings at this time? If not, in the interest of time, I'm going to move back to President Paul to continue with proceedings. It's quite a big number and it's participating at this time. President Paul, your time.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much, P. Junior. Thank you so very much. And of course, I mean, we have 76 participants. on just now, and I want to welcome everyone, especially our distinguished past presidents who are also here with us this evening. It's very good to have you all. Apologies for absence. I have not received any apologies. Secretary DLG Willie.
Yes, currently we have an apology from DP Desmond, who's currently attending the joint meeting of Constant Spring and the capital city, as he'll be announcing his candidacy there this evening. DP Desmond.
Okay, thank you very much, DLG Willie. We move to the recognition of birthdays and anniversaries.
Sorry, President Paul.
Yes, go ahead.
Kiwanis International Trustee Hope had a kind of that's maybe a food poisoning kind of incident, so she will not be here, but she has designated someone, IPP Nadine, to bring her message. So I just wanted to point that out. Okay, and one of our presenters has apologized, DP Lloyd. So that's it.
Yes, thank you very much, DP Stewart.
Yes.
We move on to the recognition of birthdays and anniversaries. VP Newton.
Thank you, President Paul. Good evening, everyone. Hope you're having a great time. For birthdays and anniversaries this week, we have 3 persons. We have PD Vernon Jones, who celebrates his birthday on March 25. That I think is 3 days' time. And PD Lascelles Dixon, some of you call him Las Dixon, and Marcia, who is the wife of DP Arturo Stewart. They both celebrate their birthday on March 27. That's it for us for this week. But if there's anyone who is celebrating any special sort of anniversary or so, through President Paul, I ask that you just open your microphone, let us know about it, so we can help celebrate with you. Anyone? Okay, well, it's back to you then, President Paul.
Yes, thank you very much, VP Newton. I just put in a chat that in fact the Kiwanis Club of Kingston, our actual anniversary date is the 24th of March. You know, so yes, so we're close to, we're 58 now, but this is a day we have our meetings. We move on to Kiwanis education. Secretary DLG Willie.
Thank you, DP Paul. As we celebrate the 58th anniversary of the Kiwanis Club of Kingston this week, I'm going to read a section from the book Kiwanis in Jamaica, 1964-2009, written by Patrick Bryan, retired professor of history at the University of the West Indies. Kiwanis International was in its 49th year when in 1964, they established roots in Jamaica. By this time, the main lines of Kiwanis International had been established. The story of its establishment in Jamaica began in 1963 when Alan Talbot, an English insurance executive working in Jamaica, suggested that a Kiwanis Club be established in Kingston. A conversation between Alan Talbot, apparently impressed by what he had seen of Kiwanis in Nassau, Bahamas, and Frank Melhado, a Jamaican businessman, initiated the Kiwanis movement in Jamaica. On January 17, 1964, Frank Melhado met with 10 other men at the Sheraton Hotel, now the Wyndham Hotel, and was appointed the chair of the steering committee for the establishment of a club in Kingston. The required target of a minimum of 50 men was reached and surpassed by March 24, 1964, when some 71 men agreed to become charter members of the club. The Kiwanis Club in Nassau, though just 15 months old, was the sponsoring club of the Kiwanis Club of Kingston. The Kiwanis Club next step was to seek affiliation with a district. There were 2 options. The proximity to Jamaica to Florida, and no doubt a growing influence, especially in commercial and industrial development of the United States and Jamaica, prompted the newly formed club to seek affiliation with the Florida district. The second option was to imitate Kingston Sponsoring Club, that was the Kiwanis Club on Nassau, which was part of the Ontario, Quebec Maritime District of Canada. Florida agreed and then reneged on his promise to accept the Jamaican organization. Frank Medeiros approached indirectly, I must say, the Ontario, Quebec Maritime District in Canada. Canada, a member of the British Commonwealth, welcomed Jamaica with open arms when a newly formed club sought links with the Canadian rather than the Florida district. The Kiwanis Club of Kingston thus became the first club in Jamaica, making it the 12th Kiwanis Nation and 5,224th club of Kiwanis International. Fellow Kiwanians, the Kiwanis education tonight. Over to you, President Paul.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much, DRG William. Well, at this time, I'm going to hand over the next segment to DP Stewart, who will guide the proceedings on this sharing and reminiscing on our 50th anniversary. So DP Stewart, over to you.
Thank you, President Paul. Just trying to open up. As usual, I have to use two devices. Okay, fellow Kiwanians and guests, this section is the section where members of our club are going to be reminiscing. Now, I didn't tell the members what sequence they are going to be in, but let me just say that it is gonna be, if they remember how it was in the Legion of Honor, we're gonna be following pretty much that kind of sequence. Our first presenter is actually not here, but because of the employment of technology, I'm gonna start sharing screen because what he did was that he prepared a video which would make it, because he said he would be probably in flight at the time of the meeting. So I'm speaking of Chairman Dr. Andrew Burton, who is going to be the first presenter for the evening. So I have to go back to sharing screen. So just give me a second, because that's another device that I'm using. Okay, so 1 second. Okay, so and what I'll do at the end of for this one, I'll just call the name of the person who is coming next, so you can prepare yourself. Person following Andrew will be Vice President Newton Ramdial. Okay, so here's what Andrew put together.
Church, but again, that's an opportunity that a lot of women jump for. But
I think I have to share sound because I have to come out of this. 1 second.
No, we're hearing the sound, DP Stewart. You could start it from the beginning.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, it's still there. All right. Let me just start it.
Good evening, colleagues and friends. My name is Andrew Burton, and I'm a member of the Kiwanis Club of Kingston. It's my pleasure to share in this meeting where we get to reflect and reminisce on the 58 years of outstanding service that our club has given to the community. And I apologize for not being able to give this live, but I expect to be in
the sound
at the time of the meeting, so I just thought a recording might be the safer bet. So my memory with the Kiwanis Club of Kingston starts in May 25, 2021, and actually on the day of induction, I was physically on duty.
Sounded a little low, DP.
So it was in the nurses' station on the ward with many.
Oh.
Right here in PE, Julian, you turn up your volume on your device.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead, DP Stewart.
Screaming, crying children and parents wanting updates that I accepted my life, but I expect to be in flight at the time of the meeting, so I just thought a recording might be the safer bet. Good evening, colleagues and friends. My name is Andrew Burton, and I'm a member of the Kiwanis Club of Kingston. It's my pleasure to share in this meeting where we get to reflect and reminisce on the 58 years of outstanding service that our club has given to the community. And I apologize for not being able to give this live, but I expect to be in flight at the time of the meeting, so I just thought a recording might be the safer bet. So my memory with the Kiwanis Club of Kingston starts in May 25, 2021. And actually on the day of induction, I was physically on duty at the hospital. So it was in the nurses station on the ward with many screaming, crying children and parents wanting updates that I accepted my induction into the club. And it reminded me that the reason why I'm venturing back into Kiwanis was because of a love for service and also for mentorship. And being in my own context, my very familiar setting reminded me. So I've been a member for the last 10 months, and in that 10 months, I've been affiliated with the Committee for Service Leadership Programs, more specifically as chairman of the subcommittee for Key Clubs. So I was inducted with my best friend and colleague, Martino Dyer, and the more memorable moments include for me the projects, which right now are one of the only opportunities where we get to see persons in the club in real life, as in the flesh. We're familiar with the voices from the Zoom chat, but my first project, this was a joint project with the Kiwanis Club of Worthington, Kingston. This was a painting project for a school playground that they had there. And it was so refreshing to see and interact with other members of the club as men working together. Thereafter, in October, there was a tree planting project that was held in collaboration with the Michael University Circle K. We had a pedestrian painting and tree planting project. And I got to meet some of the Circle Kers who I eventually would get to work with through the Service Leadership Program Committee. That same day, after the project, I got to experience some of the social side of being with Kiwanis when we got to have a lunch meetup with persons from CyberConnect. Thereafter, in December, that was Christmas morning, we went to the Golden Age home to sing carols with the residents there. And again, that would have been my first experience caroling with a large group of men. And that was also interesting. I don't think we get to see men in our society do something like that enough. I've been caroling with my church, but again, that's an opportunity that a lot of women jump for. But it was very, very encouraging to see the men in the club step up and sing and share with the residents of the home. It's also been a blessing to see how the tenets of the club intersect with my own life and my career, as working with the service leadership programs has given me the opportunity to practice these tenets of service and mentorship. Through working with the Key Clubs, I've gotten the opportunity to speak at a career day talk with Dunoon Technical, and more recently had gotten to share a bit on the functions of the kidney for World Kidney Day for their Key Club meeting this month. And that has been a great opportunity to get to interact one-on-one. The children were very interactive, even through Zoom. I'm also pleased to be able to share this opportunity through Kiwanis with my friends. Since my induction, I've been able to invite 2 of my friends to the fold. And not only to share with them this joy, this K, but also to share with the club, people who are in my circle and people who I find value in, and together to give back. I'm pleased to have formed a part of the last decade, or the last year rather, of the club's development, and I look forward to what's ahead. All the best.
Well, thank you, Andrew. He's not, obviously not here, although he did say that if he had Wi-Fi connection, he would listen in, but I'm not sure if he was able to do that. But we're off to, I think, a very good start listening to our youngest member in this group of what should have been 10, but which will now be 9. And so without any further ado, we're going to move on to our next presenter. And he is next in line. He's not yet He hasn't yet got his Legion of Honor, but he is a relatively new member who is stepping up. So we're referring to none other than VP Newton Ramdial. Newton, over to you. I'm gonna give you back screen.
Thank you, DP Stewart. It really is an honor to be here. And before I start, I have to lay down. DP Stewart told me, Newton, don't talk for more than 3 minutes. And I also know that PDT Ralston is in the crowd there as a timekeeper. So I will stick to my 3 minutes. Okay, so
no, sorry, you really have 4. I did say 4. Maybe I said 3 to 4. But anyhow, we're working with 4. So go ahead.
Maybe it's my fear of PDT Ralston why I put it down to 3. Anyway, let me say, that for a long time in my life, I felt that things in Jamaica could get much worse. And I also felt that if everybody waited on somebody else to do something, it would get worse. And so I decided that if I was not willing to step up and contribute to things being better, then really I'd given up my right to complain. So I started looking around about 25 years ago. I started looking around for some way to give back. And this is the first time all of you are hearing this, but I almost joined Rotary Club. But there was something about it that just didn't fit right. So I didn't join. About 10 years ago was the first time that I looked around and I liked what I saw in Kiwanis, and I actually became a member of a Kiwanis Club. I won't say which one because it only lasted for a couple of months. Because what I found is that when I went there, it was like being in a meeting where listening to people being each other's cheerleaders. And that's not what I was about. I was about actually doing something. And actually, I talk about being alone in a crowd. That's how I felt at that club. So, but the need to serve never left me. And so in 2018, I met DP Dalma, right? And in talking to DP Dalma, I realized that Kiwanis is where I really wanted to be. And, you know, let me give it a try again. And so I joined the Kiwanis Club of Kingston. Let me say this loud and clear, people. It was one of the best decisions that I have ever made, right? At the Kiwanis Club of Kingston, you are never alone. Whenever you enter the foyer, and I know that COVID has caused a lot of the new members to only know via Zoom, but when you enter the foyer at the secretariat, there is always someone present to greet you. And I guess all of you can guess who is the first person. Some people call him Uncle Willie, some people call him Santa Claus. He has a whole lot of names, but he is always there. And there is always at least 3 other members, including the president. So right away from you step into the Kiwanis Club of Kingston, before any other speech and all of that start, you start to feel like you're at home because the members let you feel at home, right? No, the meetings are always pretty lively, pretty interesting, but I must admit that the real fun part of the meeting, the real fabulous part that really gets you is the meeting after the meeting. And the members of the Kiwanis Club know what I'm talking about. For those who don't know, COVID is lifting now, so when you come, you'll find out, right? Now, immediately you join, you were presented with several choices to serve. So you were not just coming in to make up numbers and pay your dues. You were expected to serve. And you were given several choices and you were kept abreast of club activities. So even when I went in, even though I was not sure which section I wanted to serve in, because of being kept abreast of what was happening, pretty soon I knew where I wanted to go. And so I actually gravitated towards the debating competition. I actually, yeah, at the time, President Desmond said, hey, come. I went, I found that it was an amazing experience. I mean, it was amazing when the competition started. You see these shy, hesitant students, And by the time you got to the end of the competition, you almost had to be restraining them because they were now first-class debaters, very confident in what they were doing and very self-assured, right? Another thing that I took on, which was our Christmas caroling. Now, I'm glad most of you haven't heard us caroling because, I mean, apart from the fact that if it wasn't for the fact that some of the ladies normally join us, somebody would probably call the police. We're not very good at it, but we put what we lack in quality, we put heart into it, right? Another project that has caught me since joining is the feeding of the homeless, which we do in downtown Kingston once per month. People, there is nothing as rewarding as serving people who, they're street people, they're homeless. There's nothing you can ever expect them to do for you. But when you see the joy and you get all of the God bless you, my son, glad you guys are here and all of that, you really get a sense that you are making a difference. You really get a sense that, we're not about speech and sitting down and all of that. We're actually making a difference in other people's lives. As bulletin editor, a position that I thought DP Earl was helping me when he handed me the position of bulletin editor. I realized that what he was trying to do, he knows the weight you carry as bulletin editor, because you have to keep abreast of everything that is happening with the club, because you can't report on it if you don't know about it. But what it does, it gives you also a sense of, some people say you don't belong to any one committee or any one country. You feel like you're a part of everything that's going on because you are keeping abreast of what's happening. No, I know it's not good protocol for you to pick out any one set of people, because if you pick out one set of people, the other one going to say, what about me? But I can tell you, at the risk of being ostracized by some, that I really feel with all that has been going on, I feel a sense of strong affiliation towards like Dunoon Park and St. Hugh's Key Club and the Michael Circle K, because whenever they attend any of our functions, and they are usually, at least one of them is always at every function and every meeting, they bring a certain vibe and a certain energy that most of us in the Kingston Club can only dream about, because we have lost that level of energy a long time ago. So whenever they're in the house, we know they're there, we love them, we appreciate them for it, right? Now, what else have I experienced? I am in constant contact and learning from some of the most fabulous people. I mean, you have people like Del G, Willie, DP Dalma, DP Chris, DP Stuart, DP Earl, DP Richard, DP soon to be LGE Desmond, Director Eric, PDT Ralston, and a whole lot of people, bright people who are willing to serve and willing to correct you whenever you're not exactly thinking things through properly, but correct you in such a way that you don't feel as if you're being corrected. So my advice to everyone who is listening, if you're not a Kiwanian, find a Kiwanis Club, join, and begin to serve. I'm surprised PDT Ralston didn't tell me I've overshot my time, but that's it from me.
Thank you, VP. Knew that. I think I didn't have my stopwatch set up, so but I know you went over. I know you went over, but not to worry. Thank you for your contribution to this evening's proceedings. I should have said at the beginning that the next person after you was going to be PDT Ralston, but he should have figured that out, because it's gonna be PD Ralston, then Chris Robinson, DP Chris, and then David Hall. So if you guys can keep that in mind, you will remember the sequence. So Past District Trustee Ralston Nunes, it's your time. And I'm going to start the watch. Ralston, you hearing me?
You have to start your watch again.
I didn't start it, I'm waiting to start it. PDT Ralston. Hey, come on. Hold on now. Is it my problem? Is it my problem or is it? Chris, can you hear me? Just checking if everything is going right.
Yes, we can hear it.
Yes, I'm hearing you.
So I thought, but
I am
Ralston
hearing
is
you.
online, so what's happening to Ralston?
I guess he's having connectivity.
Okay, for this, okay, DP Chris, would you like to go then? I'm sure whatever he might sort out whatever connectivity problems he's having afterwards. So I'm gonna call on DP Chris.
Thank you. Thank you, DP Stewart. Fellow Kiwanians, visitors, friends, as you have already heard, we have been given just 4 minutes to relate our history in Kiwanis. And so I am here trying to figure out now where should I begin? How do I tell you about my 28 years in Kiwanis in 4 minutes? So I will just talk about a few items which have really stood out for me. When I became as a young Kiwanian, right, I was given the opportunity to lead at the time it was called the Sponsored Youth Committee, and I had specific responsibility for the Builders Club. And in going around and seeing all of these Builders Club, because we used to visit these Builders Club on a very regular basis, I realized that one of the things that we need to do is to encourage our young people to speak up. If they have something to say, encourage them to speak up. Give them a forum where they could speak up. And with the support of the then president of the Kiwanis Club of Kingston, Stuart Spencer, we put together an oratorical competition for Builders Club members. And it just started out as a simple public speaking competition where, they are given a topic, students are given a topic to speak on, and they try as best as possible to speak up, but it gave them an opportunity to express themselves, right, in a structured manner. And we have seen over the years how that competition has grown from year to year to the point where we started to enter our children in the district public speaking competition. And we have had winners of the competition who have spoken at district convention and have spoken, at international convention. So we are extremely happy, and I feel very good that somewhere along the line, I had a small part to play in getting that competition started. I can also think of other things. In fact, as a Kiwanian, and I will tell anybody here who's not yet a Kiwanian, you have to get involved with the youth program. Have to get actively involved with the youth program. You have to get actively involved with interclubbing. Simply because with interclubbing, you see other clubs, you see what other people are doing, you hear what other people are doing, and you can share experiences. And with involvement in the youth competition, in the youth movement, the SLP program, you will see the effect that you can have on young children. Because that leads me to the next point. I didn't know. I went to Builders Club meeting, years ago. This was probably about 20 years ago.
and you go and you speak to children and you encourage them and so. About 6 years ago, out of the blue, I got a call from a lady, and she said, "You don't know me, sir, but I am the mother of a certain young lady. And I just want to say thank you." And I'm saying, what is that? She said, my daughter has just graduated from UWI as a doctor. And I said, "Well, now, congratulations." Or something. Up to this point in time, I really don't know. She said, "You don't know, sir, but you went to her Builders Club meeting and you spoke and encouraged them to follow their dreams and so." And that seemed to have hit my daughter. And she pursued her dreams to the point where she has now graduated as a doctor. And she has always mentioned the fat man who came to the Builders Club meeting and spoke to them that day. And, when I hear things like that, it just makes me feel great. I mean, that you have influenced the life of a young person in a very good way. And, when you see they have turned out and they are prepared, to say it was because of what you said at that particular time, which have encouraged them and gave them the mindset to go on and pursue their dreams and have attained, and that, when you hear things like that, it makes your time that you spend in Kiwanis totally worth it. You don't have to do anything else. You sit, you smile when you're at home and you're feeling down and you think about something like that. It cheers you up. And I would perhaps want to share with you one other incident at this time. It is in respect of having served and helped others along the way. I recall somewhere in 2008, the person who became the governor of our district called me and said that they would like me to chair a district committee. Now, if you know about the district committees, they're all chaired by persons who are lieutenant governors or governors and things like that. So, I perhaps foolishly accepted. And then I went to the convention and ended up in a room full of everybody else in that room described themselves as lieutenant governor this, or past lieutenant governor this, or distinguished governor this. And so when I come to have to introduce myself, all I'm saying is that I'm distinguished President Chris from the Kiwanis Club of Kingston. And they said, "Oh, it is good to see someone like you here." And I'm saying, huh? And then I realized that it is not a matter of your position, but what you are seen or capable of doing, which will make a difference in Kiwanis. And I felt so good about that, to the point where a couple of years later, I noticed that my friend and the person who was lieutenant governor when I was the president of Kingston Club, DLGE Kermit McGann, called me and said, "I would like to invite you to the board of the KFJ, with the clear possibility that you may end up leading the KFJ." And I didn't take him seriously, because if you look at the Kiwanis Foundation of Jamaica, every president before was either a lieutenant governor or a governor or a past governor. So I didn't take him too seriously until, I guess, time catch up on me, and I was really named as the first non-governor to lead the Kiwanis Foundation of Jamaica in Jamaica. All right, so again, it just goes back to the point I was saying, it's not so much about the title that you have, but what you are capable of doing and what you have demonstrated that you can do, which will make a big difference in people's lives. And so, my friends, Kiwanis has been a wonderful experience. There are many, many other stories, and so I could tell you of things which have happened. And it has happened because, I gave primacy to the human and the spiritual rather than the material values of life. And that I have always practiced the golden rule in all my undertakings. Try to do to others as you will want to do to you in similar circumstances. So join Kiwanis, get involved in Kiwanis as much as possible, because if you do that, you will get more out of Kiwanis than you can put in. Thank you. I hope I haven't gone too far over 4 minutes. Thank you, President DP Stewart.
Okay, DP Chris, I will tell you afterwards how much you went over, but it was still a pleasure listening to you reminiscing. So I'm not going to, we're not going to hurt you for that, but thank you very much. Now, DP Ralston, or past PDT Ralston, if you are now able to speak, let me know. Signal, and then I'll know. If otherwise, I'd have to go to David Hall and then come back to you. Ralston, are you connected now?
Yes, I am.
You are. Okay. Okay. I don't know if you were able to hear what was happening, even though you weren't able to speak. But it's your time now, and let's see how much of the 4 minutes you're going to use, or if you're gonna go over.
Are you hearing me?
I'm hearing you, so
Okay.
you can go right ahead.
President Paul and fellow Kiwanians, good evening. To be part of this club, I consider a privilege. And if I was to use one word to describe my Kiwanis experience, it would be satisfying. If I was to use two, it would be very satisfying. The journey has been long and at times arduous, but one I would readily embark on again at a moment's notice. This movement has provided me with the opportunity to impact many lives, both those you serve and those you serve alongside. It took me 12 years to the presidency, which was normal in those days, and not because of being dunce on my part, but that exposure to every office and aspect of Kiwanis during the time made me well-rounded and very confident of my role when I was elected. At the podium, I had certain persons I would glance at for indication of how I was doing. And you get a nod or a shake of the head. I really was exposed to many who were to influence my development in and out of Kiwanis. Mike Pennell, Mike Enriquez, Carlton Levy, and our own DLGE Trevor Christian. They were the guardians of the movement, the protocols, best practices. They were forthright, outspoken, but most of all, honest in their opinion, and would stand alone if that is what it took. I have tried, and hopefully I'm emulating some of those traits. Carlton Levy was indeed an iconic figure in the Kiwanis Club of Kingston. We used to call him Hitler. And I recall a meeting at Vernon Jones' home in Stonehill. And I had a run-in with Carlton at the meeting. Maybe that's one of my traits. But, and we went at each other. At the end of the meeting, I realized that I had driven him to the meeting, and so I had to take him home. And we went home in utter silence. And when I dropped him in Orange Grove, he took about 4 steps and he turned around and he said, "So what, you're not coming in for a one?" Being obedient as usual to Carlton, I went in and we had A1, but it was A1 bottle. But that was a kind of bond and strong connection we formed as members of the Kiwanis Club of Kingston. I recall the days of standing at the podium with a head table of maybe 10 persons. There were 5 banners behind me, 1 the club banner and 4 honor banner deck with all kind of patches and awards. And you would be looking at about 40 to 50 members and maybe 25 guests. And that number would double on occasions. Special occasion, it would double and go almost close to 100. Interclubbing for us then was a planned event, maybe a month in advance. And then several clubs would carpool or we rent a bus, and the entire time we went, all of us as Kiwanians from different clubs, we went to Upper Clarendon or Santa Cruz, right across the island. And we would spend the entire time at the meeting. And after the meeting, we would spend maybe double the time at fellowship. Now, the journey to and from was not straight. It would involve stops to expel liquid. And yes, to also replace what you have just expelled. So overall, Kiwanians, we really formed strong bonds of friendship, so that when we got the convention, we weren't strangers. We were talking to persons who we have been dealing with for the longest time. And those days, the Jamaican contingent would be close to 100, sometimes more than 100 Jamaicans in the house. We made our presence known at any convention we went to. And so they started to have Jamaica Night, which became a staple in the annals of Kiwanis conventions, both district and international. And so as Kiwanians, we really stood proud out there to represent Jamaica. But I am absolutely grateful to the Kiwanis Club of Kingston for the type of exposure that I had, the type of leadership and training that came my way, which hopefully I can pass on to the clubs. And so sometimes I see things that might not be going the way it should, and I understand that changes do take place. But we talk about it and we try to come to an amicable settlement of how we should approach a thing. So President Paul and DP Stewart, this is my unusually short contribution to a discussion, and I will sit back and listen to other persons. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, PDT Ralston. And I know there's so much more you could have spoken about, but we know the time frame. I think I was being very ambitious to have set a 4-minute target. But anyhow, thank you for your contribution, and we welcome it. It's now time for Director David Hall. Director David, I trust that you are ready and waiting.
Yes, DP Stewart, thank you.
Okay.
Good night, everyone. President Paul and all the distinguished Kiwanians and guests.
Sorry, David.
Yes.
Let me just, as I said, as I promised to do, following you will be DP Dalma. Okay, so continue.
No problem. So thanks again, DP Stew, for asking me to make a contribution to a significant evening in the Kiwanis calendar. So I just want to quickly walk through my journey in very short order. So, I mean, I was grabbed by DP Winston Clark as a youngster way back there, introduced to the club and certainly mentored by him. And it has been a rewarding journey. That would have been from what, 1998, right? And both here, having left, come back, I'm still happy that I've been able to make a contribution and to see a number of persons impacted. And I just walk quickly through because what attracted me to the club was that, I mean, I was very involved in a number of activities for youngsters. And so immediately I was um, put under youth services. And I think within the first year, I became chairman and then, kind of got involved in different things. But I'm going to come to that. I've been involved in service leadership, Circle K, Key Club, Builders Club. I've been involved with human and spiritual values, very much DP Winston got me much involved with that. Kiwanian Mike and Director Eric. Christmas morning is a staple for us. Try and be there and to both of our homes that we visit. And I've certainly formed a bond with them. And now, Director for Club Meetings, working with my friend DP Stewart. I just want to walk through some of the things that show the breadth of opportunities that there are in our Kiwanis movements. The school feeding program was a staple, PD Don Williams and a number of schools benefited from that program over many years. We want debt of gratitude, our swimming program at YMCA. Many of the youngsters learned to swim out of that. DP Patrick and many others were instrumental in supporting that. For years, we had our netball, football competition. I'm sure many of you reminisce and remember our PD Owen Broadbent. And, he was very instrumental in building that out. I know a number of you are here tonight will remember our youth camp, boy, we had camp and see those youngsters, some of them enjoying so much food, lunch, did breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and it just turned your heart, warmed your heart to the kind of effort and how these kids appreciate. I think that was one of those times up there in the hills where we had some good football matches. Way back there. I won't call it the names tonight, but quite a number of our DPs were on tonight. Dalma, DP Marcel, there's Milton, DG Willie, DP Chris, DP PD Don were very instrumental in the youth camp or hikes. I would dare say I wouldn't try to do it right now. So, but we had some good times up at Hollywell. DG Willie and DP Marcel and DP Dalma and Charles and getting all of those kids, exercising and up the hill. I think they enjoyed those times and just enjoyed the fresh air. One of the flagship programs that we have had, and this was right in the very first year there, that we were looking for new projects. And we came upon this project that we called Youth in Excellence. I remember clearly my first president that I served on the DP Leo. And DP Leo, forever we have those pictures way back then in the hallowed halls of King's House, and it has grown. DP Stewart and I have for many years been working that program, and we have been afforded the privilege of being supported by many Kiwanians. And DP Charles Sims would always put his money where his mouth is and would have supported the gifts and the plaques that we gave to the winners, We had some great persons. The first year when a young man, Ravindra Ganesh, at age 13, 8 subjects, 8 ones, and he went on to the medical field at 15. The great Luton Shelton, we just good to having recognized him recently before his death, and his dear wife. Luton was one of our flagship winners. Simone Forbes, she did so many sports. I think we awarded her for 4 different sports. Frederick Dakers or discus winner, excellent. And then a young man, and if you remember him, Robert Williams, blind, we gave a special award, and Robert has excelled. And we thank God that we were able to support him. Our first double winner was a young man called Kevin Brown. He did both academics and leadership. And recently we saw him do some great exploits in Japan. Najee Leslie did many exploits playing overseas now, one for the arts. And then we had a young man called Samano Samuels, basketball. So that program was one that we cherish, you know, and for each year we would have gone up to the King's House. So we had different governor generals that we met, Sir Patrick Allen, the most honorable Howard Cook, and the most honorable Sir Kenneth Hall. You know, so it leaves an indelible mark. As a matter of fact, out of our program, the governor general started a program that he mentioned, that the Kiwanis Club of Kingston and our Youth and Excellence program. We did a mentorship program, which again got us an opportunity to really meet a number of these youngsters in the schools. And earlier on, we had some book projects, bringing books overseas, the value of over $1 million. You know, our secretary, Brian, was very instrumental. And I mean, the Jamaica Christian Boys Home, it's no longer there. They have flattened it, and I think there's a car business here now. But again, those years were just years you just cherish, past President Michael Tucker. So as I come down, just looking back over the years, you know, we have had great times. It has meant something about, you know, I've, you know, been kind of, as we work, both in the club and in our own business, I'm doing that now, and many other challenges. The Kiwanis Club has prepared us for that. You know, great camaraderie over the years, our DP Chris and Garfield, myself, the Indomitable 3, and we thank all of our sponsors over these many years. So, DP Stewart, the journey has been rewarding, and I thank you for an opportunity to reflect and to say that I encourage all our new Kiwanis, those who are on, to join up and encourage others around you. You know, leave a legacy that others will emulate. Thank you.
Thank you, Director David. And, you know, and a lot of gems in that story. When you spoke about the Governor General, you didn't actually complete the sentence to say that he modeled his thing, you know, off us.
Yes.
But I guess that's what you're heading to say.
Correct.
And it's not only him, because afterwards I remember a meeting at somewhere on Hagley Park Road. I think I was there with you, with Arnold Bertram. And then
Yes.
soon after that, the Prime Minister's had
That
am I
is correct.
correct? Am I correct? Yes, I
You
remember.
are correct.
Okay, thank you very much, David. It's been
Thank you.
a pleasure.
Thank you.
It's now time for DP Dalma, and hoping he doesn't have any connectivity issues. DP Dalma, over to you.
Thank you, DP Stewart. President Paul, fellow Kiwanians, guests. I can remember back in 1987, the trepidation I had walking into the first Kiwanis Club of Kingston meeting. The only thing that relieved my anxiety is that I saw my friend Warwick Bogle at the lectern. And somehow that made me feel a little less frightened. However, that newness soon disappeared because I found that the members of the club, they were so welcoming, so friendly. And I just run through for those persons who might remember these names. We had Carlton Levy, Trevor Christian, Robert Blackwood, Al Morrison, Milton Weller, Robert Blackwood, Vernon Jones, or shall I have Robert? Arturo Stewart, I think he was president-elect at the time, Jeff Masado. Now, these guys made you feel as if you are one of them. Now, not being the old boy of any school in Jamaica, you didn't have an old boys club to fall back to. And I found that the camaraderie, the welcoming smile, the way the members of the club treated me. I felt like one of the boys. And it is one of the things which up to today, I really cherish about the Kiwanis Club of Kingston. It is how it makes us feel like brothers. We are there to serve, but we are also there to support each other. And it's one of the things that I really love. Now, my greatest service projects in the club was in youth service. I don't want to repeat all of those things which David had spoken about, but my biggest thing was youth service and the camp. And I can remember the camp, the days when we were at Kintyre. Those of us long enough to remember Kintyre, GC Foster College, Oberlin, Clydesdale. Lately, we went across to St. Mary's. But these were events which we always looked forward to, not just because of the children who were serving, but because of the camaraderie, the time that we had together, the time it allowed us to have rapport with the young people. And really and truly, up to this day, I still really enjoy it. And remember, we used to have the hikes. That was really one of my specialties. And just to give you some idea of some of the things that we really experienced, I always had my camera with me. On one occasion, I was taking some pictures, and one young man come up to me and said, "Sir, you're going to put those in a book?" I said, "No, I'm just taking them for my purpose." He said, "But sir, you have to put them in a book because enough Jamaican people don't know that that exists." Well, I didn't follow his advice, right? But it's the sort of thing which makes you really feel differently, you know. Another occasion, driving over Flatbridge with a group of children, only to discover that of the 10 people who we carried over there, only 3 had been over Flatbridge before. These are kids from the inner city, 3 persons whose community, whose life, whose society was so small that what we were doing with our youth camp and our hikes and so on was expanding their borders. And it really brought a lot of satisfaction to me. I've served on several occasions. After youth service, I've been treasurer for too many years, directors, eventually president. And I must say that I really enjoyed my journey through the club. And it was a wonderful learning experience, right? You learn the joy of seeing the smile on a young person's face when you interact with them. And at the same time, you learn the frustration of working with people who you can neither punish nor reward. Sometimes it was passable, other times it was downright frustration. For instance, the last major thing I did was to ensure that the club got charitable status. It took me from 2015 to 2021 to complete that exercise. Frustration mainly from the authorities who were, I would say, sometimes ridiculous, at other times quite accommodating, but in the end we got through. Sometimes with the frustration of dealing with members of the club who sometimes made you feel as if you're doing it for your benefit, not for the club. But at the end, I got it. And one of the best pieces of correspondence I got, one that really made me feel good, was when I got that letter from the charities authority saying Kiwanis Club of Kingston is now awarded the charitable status. Sometimes, which every time I hear it, it really makes me feel, yes, it was worth the long, hard drive that I went through. The Kiwanis Club of Kingston is really something that a club which brought me much satisfaction. And as somebody has said earlier, if I had an opportunity, I would do it all again. It allows us to serve, it allows us to develop, it allows us camaraderie with other persons. And I would say those who have just joined, get involved, don't just sit on the sideline. And I'm sure one of these days you'll say it was worth it. Thank you.
Thank you, DP
Comrade.
Dalma. That was what else? I mean, I'm not supposed to add anything, but I just have to say thank you very much. And at this point,
DP2.
yes, let me go ahead, Jeff. Go ahead.
Yes, yes, I've been hearing these wonderful things, and I have to say that I have to give in my little two be two, because all the things, all you have said is so wonderful. But one of the most remarkable things I think that we have achieved in our club in our time was to have built that building at the National Chest Hospital. And it was a 3-year project. And I remember we had to have a motor car raffle, many fundraising, and the Minister of Health and the Minister of Government and the head of um, the blood transfusion department, Dr. Lowe, and of course stalwarts like Carlton Levy and Milton Weller, who we all put it together. And it is a legacy of today that we do have our own building, because we used to have to pay rent in hotels and various places. So that has been, I think, a singular achievement. Another thing that I remember the governor.
Jeff, before you go on, could you remind us who built it? Those are Kiwanians as well.
Who built the building?
Yes, just include that as part of what you're talking about.
No, but it was built by us, the Kiwanis
No,
Club of Kingston.
I meant like people like, was it Derek Clark, our members?
Oh,
That's what I
yes.
meant.
Oh,
That's what I meant.
Derek Clark, I think, was the contractor. You probably was right. I don't
Contractor
remember
Junior
that.
Stewart.
And Junior.
Junior.
And Junior. I don't know if they're both shared apart, but
Yeah, you're right. Honestly, I don't remember those details now, But you are, I think you are right,
Okay,
And
look, Junior, would you like to just, if we said something
The
wrong, Junior, would you
contractor
like
was
to just?
Junior Stewart.
Okay, contractor was Junior Stewart.
Sorry
Okay.
about
Yes,
sorry
yes.
to interrupt.
Derek Clark started it though.
Okay, so that's how it went. I knew there was a connection.
Yeah, Derek. So DP is right. Derek started it, and afterwards I was involved in the finishing.
Okay, continue, Jeff.
Well, that is wonderful. I also remember the other incident. In those days at Kiwanis, we used to have a lot more socialization on people's houses, And of course, Governor Carlton Levy, everybody always speaks about him. And he was so strong in so many ways. But, we always used to go to his house. And as you go there, you used to have a drink. And he would say, Jeff, you are the bar tough today because, you're not a bartender at Carlton's house. You have to be tough to take the instructions from Carlton. But one of the things, and of course, he and Milton Weller were really the great leaders of the time. And I remember when internationally, the service clubs, because of the Rotary Club in America, said that you had to admit women into service clubs. And those guys said, well, they can't come to the Kiwanis Club of Kingston, but we have to find women to create Kiwanis Women's Club. And they came to my house and my wife was there and they said, Jennifer, Milton and said, you have to create a Kiwanis Women's Club. And the rest is history. That Kiwanis Club of New Kingston that was created was the largest new club ever in the history of Kiwanis at that time. I don't know if they have had clubs with more people starting off than that club. But that was another legacy, I think, that I remember in our era as a member of the Kiwanis Club of Kingston. So I'll just leave it there with those two small memories for recollection's sake.
Thank you for chipping in, Jeff. And I'll just add one thing more. Those parties, remember you and Jennifer used to host these parties.
Oh yes,
those
the carnival
fundraising
parties, the soca parties.
Those are wonderful days, and the parties were always great back on that lawn with the music around and so on. So good memories. Thank you, Jeff.
All right, thank you very much. All right.
Okay. The next person up is none other than, well, Lloyd Barnett should have been on, but he apologized that something came up he couldn't avert. So we're gonna go now to DLGE, Willie Reese. Now I have not been telling you the years of membership as we go along, but you can kind of figure it out from some of the things that persons have said. But these are persons who are in the 40 plus, right? In terms of, because we recently had a Legion of Honor presentation. So I'm going to ask now DLG Willie Reason, and he'll be followed by DLGE Stan. So Willie, over to you.
I'm timing.
Yes, let me set my watch. Willie?
Thank you very much, DP Stewart. Promise to be short. My journey into Kiwanis started in 1979. But soon after joining, I was appointed as a relief manager at Jamaica National Building Society, which took me outside of Kingston. Because of the demands of my new responsibilities, I had to give up my membership soon after because of my non-attendance at luncheon meetings. And in those days, DLG distant tell you, we enacted the bylaws. However, 2 years later, I was proposed again by the late DLGE Michael Enriquez and readmitted the Kiwanis Club of Kingston in February 1981 during the presidency of DP Carl McDonough. I have not looked back ever since. I'm indeed indebted to a number of Kiwanians, DLGE Trevor Christian, DLG Mike Enriquez, Pascal Carlton Levy, and DLG Milton Weller, the latter three of blessed memory, for my early training and knowledge of Kiwanis. The camaraderie and fellowship which existed between members in the club was second to none. Looking back at my journey in Kiwanis, I have fond memories, especially in the area of our service leadership program, which, as you all know, I'm very passionate about, where I've served as Kiwanis advisor to several SLP clubs over the years. I enjoyed working with children. My happiest moments as a Kiwanian are when children who I've mentored over the years come up to me and ask me, Mr. Reason, Uncle Willie, Santa Claus, you remember me? Often not remembering because of lapse of memory, I asked them to remind me what school it was. And they would tell me. And then I pretend I remembered. Over the years, I have built up long-lasting friendships with SCLP members on sharing their memories of the positive impact I've had on their lives. My other love has been into clubbing with clubs within our division across the island, as we all know. Who can forget the late night stopping at our favorite watering hole when returning from a long distance into clubbing and getting back home in the wee hours of the morning? Who can forget those overnight long runs to Montego Bay and Negril, or our annual visit to Santa Cruz, where Mrs. Beadle, as past director Easton McKinley's sister, put on a spread for us before we enter club with the Kiwanis Club of Santa Cruz. Hopefully now that the COVID-19 restrictions have been lifted, we can plan a long run to Montego Bay later in the year. Kiwanis, as we all know, can be fun whilst we carry out our service projects to help the youth, persons with disabilities, less fortunate and elderly in our society. Kiwanis has taught me a lot, and I'm better for having joined a noble movement which has become my life. I'm often asked where I find time to do Kiwanis work, but it's now become a part of my DNA. I shudder to think what I would do without my involvement in Kiwanis and to be able to share my K with persons who I have invited to join. I have developed a bond with my fellow Kiwanians and formed enduring friendship, which has allowed me to render altruistic service. Thank you, DP Stewart. That's my reflection on my journey in Kiwanis.
Thank you, Willie. And I must commend you. You're the first person who has actually hit the 4 minutes, the 4 minute limit. So thank you. But I mean, I know there's so much more you could have said so much more. But thank you for your contribution to this evening's proceedings. And now let's go right over. We have just two more persons before we go to the tributes, and that's DLGE Stan, and following that will be past director Trevor Ford, who is actually over the 50-year mark as a Legion of Honor. But let's go first next to the DLGE Stan. Stan, over to you.
Thank you, DP Stewart. I was inducted in the Kiwanis Club of Kingston around July 1979. At that time, Winston Clark was the president. By the next administration in October, I was made chairman of the Community Services Committee by Patrick Robinson and was Kiwanian of the Year at the end of that time. I followed up to become a director, serving a 2-year stint. During that time, I served as acting vice president, second vice president. Then I was elected first vice president, president-elect, and I was president of the club in 1984, 5 years after joining the club. That has been a very wonderful time for me. Kiwanis teaches leadership. That's where I learned all my leadership skills, the Kiwanis Club of Kingston. 43 years almost is a lot to speak about. And I could be reminiscing forever and ever and ever. Subsequent to that, I served on mainly the administrative committees. On more than one occasion, I was chairman of the Membership Growth Committee. And what I must note is that I did put a lot into the Remember program. I had the mantra that it's easier to rehabilitate a member than to bring in a new member. And members who left the club, I used to encourage them to come back to the club. Notable in that matter was DP Norris Crooks of blessed memory. Norris came back in the club and served twice as president of the club. I continued. Conventions was an integral part of clubs. And the one district convention I attended in St. John, New Brunswick, when I was president. At that convention, at the district conventions, we generally elect the governor-elect. And the governor-elect at the time should have been Ray Allen from Ontario. But Glenn Bagnell was the local lieutenant governor, former lieutenant governor, and he was going for the post of governor-elect. And he did convince Carlton, and then all of a sudden the Jamaican contingent had to change their tune and voted not what they went there to vote, who they went there to vote for, but even what happened. Glenn Bagnell won, and then Glenn encouraged Carlton to run when the convention was in Jamaica in 1986. That happened, and Carlton won, and he was the first local governor for the East CNC district. The committee meetings that we had were held in homes, and it was very enjoyable because our wives and families entertained the Kiwanians at the meetings. Subsequent to that, I got involved in a lot of the printing, the bulletin, the Christmas ball program, the Christmas ball. Thomas Smith was a member of the club and he served on the fundraising committee. That committee I served on for many, many years. And at that time, the program was being done by one of these houses like Remax or Paisley Kelly or one of these houses. And Thomas said, no, we can't do it ourselves. So he got the graphic artists, and we worked on it, and it did. We started to produce a program in-house. Tommy left the club eventually, and I have taken up the mantle of producing the program for the Christmas ball. Not only producing it, but editing it, being the editor, and that is how it started. Continuing, I have here that in 1987, at the International Convention, which was held in Washington, that was a big convention because the President of the United States at that time addressed the convention, President Ronald Reagan. And it was at that convention also that the final vote was taken that women could be accepted in the Kiwanis movement. Well, Jeff said something on that, and then Kiwanis Club of Kingston formed the Kiwanis Club of New Kingston in 2 years after that. And what he said, I won't repeat, but we all know that's history. And it's now one of the leading Kiwanis clubs in the district, and not only in district, in Kiwanis International and 23 East. I remember one fundraising event. It was a wine and cheese event. And those days, our fundraising events were massive, big. We had Sonny Branshaw with his full band and Myrna Haig as entertainers in that event. My journey in Kiwanis has been very good. When I was president, the club meetings, dates were set, and until now, they are still there. Mondays, we used to have, now we have, on Monday, we used to have directors meeting, but Mondays now we have fundraising. At the time, it was Tuesday afternoon because we met at on the luncheon meeting, and all the committees that are scheduled in the bulletin. Subsequent to that, I've taken up the bulletin. In 1999, when Lloyd Barnett was president, he asked me to edit the bulletin. At that time, the bulletin changed from a black and white cover to a color. And since then, we have had the color bulletin. 2 years after that, in 2001, 2002, when Norman Heholt was president, we won the district award, the Ralph Taylor Memorial Gong, for the best bulletin in the district. There are much more that I could say that I achieved, much more I received from the club. Well, thanks very much. That's all for today.
Thank you, DLG Stan. And moving right along, because time is running on us, it's time for me to call on past director Trevor Ford, the longest serving member in the Kiwanis Club of Kingston. And although he has 1 foot in Jamaica and 1 foot in Florida, he's still here quite often. So Trevor, it's your time now.
Okay.
Time.
I don't like that, being the oldest member, but anyway.
Not age.
Well, fellow Kiwanians, I was introduced to the Kiwanis Club of Kingston in 1973 by past president at the time. It was Victor Williams, and became a member that same year, and Milton Weller served under the presidency of Milton Weller. Both men now deceased. I must say, when DLG mentioned, Masada mentioned the building of the, you must recall that we also built that maternity center at Tivoli Gardens. I don't know how that is. Huh? And that was built by two Kiwanians at the time, Nakash and Fongi, members of our club. I worked served on several committees as director and chairman, and was especially involved with spiritual aims, inter-club and fellowship, and fundraising, to name a few. I enjoy the fellowship at committee meetings, as well as my visits inter-clubbing both locally and internationally. I remember one of our international inter-clubs when a group of Jamaican Kiwanians and our wives visited a convention in Vienna, Austria, spending 3 days in Vienna, after which we went on a bus tour for 19 days, visiting various countries in Europe, thanks to President Doug Folks from North St. Andrew, who organized this trip, giving us a grand exposure which we cannot get again these days. We sponsored several builders and key clubs, which we visited on a regular basis. These kids were invited to visit our luncheon meetings on a regular basis, and we enjoyed them immensely. And this was paid for by the members of the club. These associations I will always cherish, as it reminds me of our objects of Kiwanis, to give primacy to the human and spiritual rather than to the material values of life. Fellow Kiwanians, always remember that Kiwanis is an awesome organization, giving help and assistance to the less fortunate in their various communities. Let us therefore continue to maintain that sound public opinion and high idealism on which our objects was founded.
Thank you.
That's my personal reflections, fellow Kiwanians.
You said something about spiritual aims.
Yes, I did. And I was chairman and went to churches and gave out Bibles.
I hear you.
Why are you questioning him, brother?
And you must remember also that Waterloo Road was the head of interclubbing.
Absolutely.
We remember that quite clearly.
and your wife too, Trevor. She was an integral part of it.
Yes, of course.
Yes, President, Waterloo Road was shared with the Kiwanis Club of New Kingston.
Yes.
I know.
Yes, definitely. Okay. Fellow Kiwanians and guests, you have heard the reminiscing of our members, and we have covered from one person who was less than a year in membership to one person who is 50 years plus in membership. So we have gotten the full spectrum. Now we would like to turn our attention to our specially invited guests who have a few words to say about the Kiwanis Club of Kingston. So I'd like to invite first up the LG for Division 23 Central, our LG, Rosie.
Thank you very much. It has been such an interesting night. I have truly enjoyed the memories that have been shared, truly enjoyed it. When I think about Kingston Club, I think about what comes to mind is these words: gentlemen serving others with purpose and passion. That's just what Kingston Club is all about, right? This is a club where when you, even before you get to know the members, right? You hear about them. So their story goes way in front of them. You know, you hear about Kingston Club and you see that, boy, this is a club. And especially if you're a new club coming on, oh my God, how can I live up to all of the service and all the, the accolades and everything that they have gotten and the dedication and the passion. That's what you hear about Kingston Club. So that's how I learned about Kingston Club when I first came in. I was not only told that they were the father club for Kiwanis, and I started in New Kingston, so they were our father club. I heard all these things about them, and I found out that everything is true. all the passion, the dedication, the service to our service leadership program. I mean, when I go on a program or go on a project, and it's a project with the children around, and you see, how much they love these gentlemen that are there mentoring and guiding them, you know that they're doing something right, and you know that it's having a positive impact on the lives of these children. And I mean, DP Chris said it when he gave you that story from the mother, right? And I'm sure we have thousands of stories like that Kingston Club can tell you about, because when it comes to SLP, they are definitely one of the clubs that comes first to mind. And I'm sure nobody disagree with me on that. When I think about some of the persons that I've had the opportunity to really get to know, and I start with PDT Ralston, that troublemaker of the group. All of them give trouble, I can tell you that, right? It just takes a little while to figure that out, but it's creep up on you slowly. But he's right out there up front. PDT Ralston was LG when I became president. And I'm so grateful for his support during that year, because I know that it probably would have been a little harder to do, a little harder to get through if he wasn't there supporting. And so I remain grateful for that. Dear G Willie is a pleasure to get to know, to be around, to talk with. He's just always so supportive and so willing to give of himself and to provide guidance. I just truly enjoy his company. DP Chris is someone I got to know more than Kiwanis. Outside of Kiwanis, yes, but more in terms of Kiwanis this year. And his support has just been awesome, right? There's not a willingness to truly, I'm grateful for that. And this is what these gentlemen bring to the table all the time. Their commitment to Kiwanis is something that, we can all use as a guiding tool for us being there in Kiwanis, that we can all copy and use as we go through our Kiwanis journey. And then there's my change maker president, class president, Paul. To me, Paul embodied all of what New Kingston is. Kingston is. And every time I come here, I put New Kingston before. But what Kingston is, what all of these gentlemen bring to the table, they have groomed him so well that when you see President Paul, you see Kingston Club, right? Truly a gentleman, and it really has been a pleasure getting to know him more and to work with him. On the lighter side, do you guys remember when Kingston Club had their ball, their gala? I used to call it the Kingston Club Ball of the Year. It really was some fantastic moment. I can tell you that they really know how to put on a good event, classy and fun. Those were truly the good old days. And let's not talk about the Interclub. On the Interclub trail with Kingston Club, just nothing but fun, nothing but fun. And I'm looking forward to us getting back to those days and getting out there again. The fun and the fellowship is always a good thing. I'm always comfortable in their company and always, enjoy being around these gentlemen. We have all been witness of the impact that their service has given to our communities, to our children. And year after year, it gets nothing but better than better. This is a club that continues to breathe new life in its club, continuing to grow Kiwanis as it forms new clubs, continue to grow Kiwanis by bringing in new members. And with this, bring new ideas in the club and allow it to continue to revitalize itself and continue to grow and to give Kiwanis. It just adds to the legacy that they have already created. And I'm truly honored to have them in our division, to have the opportunity to work closely with them. And I look forward to being able to do so for the next 58 years once again. So congratulations, Kingston Club. Keep doing the great work that you're doing. And all the best for your anniversary and the years ahead. Thank you.
Thank you very much, LG Rose. Those were really some very nice, kind words, and you know, you know, the feeling that you exuded is reciprocal. So thank you very much.
Yes,
It's
before you move to the next,
I will behave. I will behave
oh
myself.
yes, before you
oh
move to the next,
yes. Go ahead,
item,
President Paul.
may I ask for an extension of 15 minutes by members of the from the members of the club?
Yes.
I so move.
Seconded.
Yes,
Okay.
thank you very much.
Okay. I'd like to now call on DLGE Lloyd Distant, who is from the downtown Kingston, and that was one of the early clubs that the Kiwanis Club of Kingston formed, and he goes way back. So, DLGE Lloyd, it's your time. Let's hear from you. Thank you. DLGE Lloyd.
I thought you said earlier that he had a commitment, and I apologized.
No, he's there.
He's
He
here.
needs to mute. He needs to mute.
Ask him to unmute.
Could you
Oh,
unmute?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Wake him up. Wake him up.
We're now hearing you.
Both senior and junior here.
Okay, DLGE Lloyd, your time.
Well, thank you very much indeed, President Paul. International Trustee Hope, I understand she's not really here, but her representative, Lieutenant Governor Rosemary, District Trustee Jolene, fellow Kiwanians and guests. Fellow Kiwanians and guests, greetings. President Paul, I feel honored to participate in this, your 58th anniversary since your chartering. The chartering of this club, which saw the introduction of Kiwanis in Jamaica, was a significant occurrence in the development of the voluntary service sector in this country, as the movement has grown and provided service to all sectors of our society for over half a century. Over the years, your club has contributed to achieve continued to achieve the commitments made by your charter president, Frank Melhedo. As father of the movement in Jamaica, it has spread the Kiwanis gospel starting from the second year of its existence, in which it chartered clubs in Montego Bay, Ocho-Rios, and then in 1969, it chartered the Kiwanis Club of Downtown Kingston and the Kiwanis Club of Mandeville. I give this tribute as a charter member of the Kiwanis Club of Downtown Kingston. In consequence, my relationship with this club has spanned 53 years of its 58 years of existence. On the night of your charter, President Frank Melhedo committed to, among other things, grow Kiwanis in Jamaica, fellowship among its members in order to create strong personal relationships, and that it would not be a knife and fork club, but one in which each member would be required to participate vigorously in community service and masonry activities. President Paul, over the years, your club has continued to achieve the commitments made by your charter president with the projects such as the construction of the Renner Lodge All-Age School, the construction of the fully equipped 16-bed air-conditioned maternity hospital in Tivoli Gardens, and the construction of an occupational therapy unit at the University Hospital of the West Indies. I can assure you that those projects proved to be a fillip to the young clubs which your club chartered. We look on the achievements of Kingston Club as achievements of our own. And I'm particularly happy to see tonight's meeting being one in which your members are celebrating your journey and reminiscing on a personal level in relation to their membership of the club and the work they have done. Much of what they have said resonate with me. You know, President, I'm able to reflect on the stalwarts of your club, those who made such significant contribution to your club. People such as past Governor Carlton Levy, the first Jamaican to be governor of ECNC district. There was DLGE Michael Enriquez, who took over the sponsored youth, as we called it then, the service leadership, but sponsored youth, but specifically the key clubs from me. And Michael eventually became the first key club administrator for Key Club in Jamaica. And what no greater devotion to service can one find than looking at the work with Michael Enriquez did for Key Club in Jamaica. His service was above all supreme. DLG Melton Weller, and those three have passed, but they helped to make the club what it is. Some of the work they did have found resonance with the clubs which now seek to make Kiwanis what it was meant to be. Those who have passed paid their service. And we now look to those Kiwanians among us who are still continuing to make fellowship among Kiwanis and Kiwanians strong. We look at members such as DLG Willie Reason, District Administrator Ralston Nunes, DP Vernon Jones, DLG Trevor Christian, DP Trevor Ford, and many others whose hands of fellowship have reached out to other clubs and helped to create enduring friendships. President Paul, your club has been outstanding over these 58 years. We at the Kiwanis Club of Downtown Kingston are pleased to have been one of your sons. We have sought to follow your footsteps, and insofar as we have achieved, we give thanks to those of your members who came to teach us about Kiwanis, its work, the organization, its work, and how we should seek to serve our country. We are happy to have been able to serve, and we wish you continued service to our country and continued good health to your current members. Thank you.
Thank you, DLGE Lloyd, for those kind words. And moving right along, it's time for us to ask our district trustee for Region G, Jelaine Lumsden Manderson. DLG
Good evening.
DT Jelaine, your
Thank
time.
you. President Paul, other members of this club, fellow Kiwanians and guests, good evening. I'd like to entitle my tribute Early Influences. So the Kiwanis Club of Kingston is the premier Kiwanis club in Jamaica. And there are a number of persons who have had a tremendous impact on my life in the early days. both as trainers, mentors, and guides. I remember in 1997-98, I was elected as the second president of the Kiwanis Club of Central Portmore, which was started in 1996. So DLGE Trevor Christian of this club and DLGE Las Lewis were both of the Kiwanis Club of North St. Andrew, were responsible for the President's Training Conference. Now, this training conference, as I recall, was held in Ocho Rios at the then Americano Hotel. And we were one division then, we weren't split. And I recall them saying that if you read your bylaws and read your president's manual, and back then the president's manual had the planner 3 months in advance, it tells you what to do, how to do, and when to do it. If you do these two things, there's no need for the training and we can all go by the pool and have a drink. But there were sticklers for protocol and procedure, and they inspired you. They had such an inspiration on you that you felt moved to take on the world and take on the work for the year. So that was one thing that I wanted to share. William Reason, DLG Willie. Many things to say about Willie. I mean, his knowledge is quite extensive. I recall back in the days when we had to write up monthly reports, it was much more complicated than it was now. You had to score your attendance. You had to put all your reports together, make sure that you post it. It's postmarked the 10th of the month. But we were having a serious problem in scoring low attendance, and I couldn't understand why the Kiwanis Club of Kingston, yes, they had a lot of members, but not everybody turned up to meetings. But yet at DCM, their scores were always up. And I said, no, man, something is wrong. So I remember calling DLG Willie, and I said, Willie, you really have to explain this to me. So he says, have you computed your makeup? I said, what is that? Are your members on leave of absence? Did they attend any convention? Did they attend any sponsored youth meetings at the time? And this is how he would share his knowledge. So I realized that there was an improvement in terms of our attendance report. And he was very kind and knowledgeable and helpful. No, he was not just so knowledgeable, but he was also an outstanding interclubber. He, along with then director David Bailey. Now, these Kiwanians would do hundreds of interclub for the year. You heard me correctly, hundreds of interclub. So I decided that I wanted a little piece of this experience. So as president, back in 1997, I was not driving. So I asked if I could tag along on some of these interclub experiences, and they were more than accommodating. So members of our club, we went on interclubs with the Kiwanis Club of Kingston, out of town from Westmoreland to St. Thomas. And then of course, on your return journey, you would stop to refresh yourself with food and beverage and have a lot of fun, sometimes reaching home at some ungodly hours of the night. But I want to also mention someone, although he's not a member of this club, but Percy Linder from the Kiwanis Club of Downtown Kingston, he was also quite instrumental in organizing interclubs, arranging the buses from the parking lot of the Pegasus Hotel, and we really had a good time interclubbing. Also want to mention DP Leo Chung. We were presidents together back in 97, 98. Now, Leo always had a word of encouragement and willing to share his ideas and resources and helping in any way he can. He was known for his kindness and his generosity, both within his club and even outside of his club. He really epitomized the word altruism. So I'd like to recognize Leo this evening. And of course, the late Rex Fennell. I met LG Rex when I was treasurer of my club. I'd hosted a board meeting at my parents' home at the time. And LG Rex helped us to strategize how to be successful in collecting dues from some of our tardy members. In fact, in that year, with his help, we had a 99% dues collection success. When he was lieutenant governor, if you recall, he was a stickler for punctuality. Now, some Kiwanians would come to the divisional council meetings and wanting to catch up, they would kind of saunter on and have their little chit chats. But Rex said he was beginning his meeting promptly at 10, even if he was the only person that was there. And so that was his hallmark. He started promptly at 10, and Kiwanians didn't bother to stop and chit chat. They were all hustling to get into the meeting because they knew that Rex was going to start his meeting on time. And now in 2012, 2013, when I was Lieutenant Governor, I decided that I was going to follow suit. I remember distinguished President Jason Kemp at the time, he said to me, LG, I don't know how you're going to accomplish that, you know. You have persons coming from Mandeville, from Clarendon, other parts of St. Catherine. I doubt it is going to happen. So he timed me down to the very second, counting down, and promptly at 10, the meeting for the Division 23 West, as it was then, was called to order at the Twickenham Park Police Center promptly at 10 a.m. And punctuality continues to be my hallmark. Now, past Governor Carlton Levy. Now, anyone who knew Carlton Levy knows that he was quite charming, but he also had a presence. And I recall one luncheon meeting, he had announced that the Kiwanis Club of Kingston had won the bid for Jamaica to host the district convention. And I got to know him a little better whilst I was part of the programs convention committee, along with DLG Bobby, who was my mentor and advisor when I was president. Also on that committee, we had DG Trevor and DLG Lloyd Distant Senior. Now, I recall one evening we had quite a robust discussion at PG Carlton's home. Now, if you know anything about PG Carlton and DG Trevor, they're always knocking heads. And I remember, you know, at the time I was a very young Kiwanian. So I was in the movement probably just about 2 years. Now, fellow Kiwanians and friends, the discussions reached a crescendo. PG Carlton rose to his feet and said, I'm not standing for this, right? He got up and proceeded out the door. And he said, but this is my house. He turned back, got back into the room and almost evicted DG Trevor. And of course, I had ringside seats to this clash. Anyway, he didn't evict him. They simply had a glass of scotch and laughed about it later. But one thing about this club is that they have a lot of persons who had this impact on your life in terms of sharing, in terms of their wealth of knowledge and good examples to lead by. So I would say to our young Kiwanians, you need to follow the good examples. Look for your mentors in Kiwanis and follow suit. So the Kiwanis Club of Kingston, I salute you. Congratulations on your 58 years of journey. And thank you very much for the role that you played in my life.
Wow. Thank you, DT Jillian. That story with Carlton was we can picture it. Even though we weren't there, we can picture it. Okay, now the last person to pay tribute is gonna be KIT Hope, but she had a little misfortune with something she ate, and we have IPP Nadine, who is going to present what Hope had prepared. So, IPP Nadine, it's your time.
Thank you, DP Stewart. Are you hearing me?
Yes, we're hearing you fine.
Okay, great, great. President Paul, Lieutenant Governor Rosie, District Trustee Jillian, and distinguished members of the Kiwanis Club of Kingston and clubs represented here this evening, I greet you well. KIT Hope is not well this evening, as DP Stewart told you she has a bout of food poisoning and has expressed her sadness that she's not able to join in your celebrations this evening. She has asked me to convey to you her words of tribute to your club, and it reads thus. Tribute Kiwanis Club of Kingston 58th anniversary. Congratulations on your 58th anniversary, and I hope God will continue to shower his many blessings on you, the members, so that you can carry on the outstanding projects the club is known for. A few years ago, Kiwanis had a theme, the power of one, which basically meant one new member can make a difference. I think about this theme today because my very first introduction to the Kiwanis Club of Kingston was when I met one of your members, DP Chris Robinson. It was DG Sharon who suggested that I asked him to be a member of my campaign team when I decided to run for governor. I was drawn to him for his sincerity, warm personality, and sense of humor. And today, I consider him a friend. During my year as governor-elect, I started out early to communicate with my team of LGs. And this is when I became closely acquainted with PDT Ralston Nunes, who at the time was the LGE for Division 23 East. And during my year as governor, it was Ralston who arranged for me to present at one of the meetings when the club was still meeting at Wyndham. I'd always wanted to attend the annual ball your club held on the first Saturday in December, and I heard LG Rosie speak about it, and I was able to do this in my year as governor. And this is where I met Dudley Ball, who danced like a pro. When I told him that my mother's family knew his first wife's family very well, without hesitation, he said, "So your mother was a Harvey? You look so much like her." He was a man of lyrics, and we communicated a few times after this. I was saddened by his passing. May his soul rest in peace. Your club's 50th anniversary gala was also a hit with me, and I was very pleased that it fell during my 10-day visit as governor to the division, and pleased that our ECNC board councillor, international trustee Marcel and his wife Heidi had accepted my invitation to the event, knowing that he was coming from Switzerland. We still reminisce about the event. Through the years, DP Chris and I have kept in touch, and I recall us attending an all-white party where we danced the night away. I think I'm the only woman who was brave enough to tell his wife that she did not birth their daughter, and it was only Chris who did, because she resembled Chris so much. Your club was the first club that asked me to formally present my candidacy for international trustee. And I know this was arranged through DP Chris Robinson, who was also on my campaign committee. But the board could have turned down his request, since at the time I did not think I was the favorite to win. I was elated when a little birdie told me that the board decided to give me the vote, and I thank the club from the bottom of my heart for this. DP Chris attended my twin brother's memorial service in November. I turned around and there he was. I also consider my experiences with DP Stewart, DLG Willie, DA Leo, and President Dave as blessings. I don't think I've ever attended one of your meetings that I have not enjoyed. I can feel the professionalism, the passion and planning that you put into them. And I like it that you are rarely off to a later start. This evening, my charge to the club would be to keep doing what you're doing because you seem to excel at it. Thanks for your support always, and thanks for giving the opportunity to IPP Nadine to say a few words on my behalf. Thank you. Blessings.
Thank you very much, IPP Nadine. Well delivered, and please convey our thanks also to KIT Hope, because we understand that those words were well meant, and we appreciate them. We appreciate them. Okay, we're drawing to the close. We're finished with the speeches. We have 2 musical items that we just have to do because these were prepared specially for us, and I just need to set up something. The first one is going to be by Jody K. Martin, and I think she's in attendance because I did invite her, and she plays the steel band, the steel pan, and although she was planning to do it live, they had a problem with their instruments, so their instruments were not accessible, so she did a recording. So she has a recording, so that's what I'm gonna set up right now. So just give me 1 second. Just trying to open this. 1 sec. Where is it not opening? Oh, come on.
Come on.
Let me just check. Are you hearing, please?
Yeah,
Yes,
we
we
can
are.
hear you.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
great.
Good.
So I don't have to go and check sound. Good, thank you. Thank you very much, Jody and Jody K. Martin, and she's in the audience with us. So give her a clap, please. Open your mics and give her a clap. And our final presentation in terms of from a musical point of view is going to be by Tevin Gibbons. He's a Circle K at Michael, and he actually prepared this, and he personalized it. So I think you're gonna pick up on that. Let me just find the actual one. It's just okay, right. This is the one. Up, up, open your mics and say.
Excellent, excellent.
I don't think we can thank Tevin enough, because he really personalized that one. So this brings me to the end of this section, and I think there's a vote of thanks. Zuri is supposed to do a vote of thanks, and I think President Paul, do you want to take it from here?
Yes, thank you very much, DP Stewart, and thanks to all the presenters taking us down memory lane and for sharing your thoughts on the Kiwanis Club of Kingston, and congratulations that you offered to us on our sterling contribution in terms of service and to our SLPs, and reflection as well of our past members, past governors, and past district presidents and other club members. We truly appreciate your time that you take to prepare that. And I'm sure that if I sit and add up all those years of membership, I think I'll reach almost 500 years thereabout in terms of the length of service that we have in this club. But to do the official vote of thanks, I'm going to call on Kiwanian Zuri, who's also one of our new Kiwanians. He was inducted into the club last December, and he has been good to the club in terms of readily available. And over to you, Kiwanian Zuri.
Thank you, President Paul. We can all indeed say that it was a beautiful celebration of 58 years. So officially, on behalf of the Kiwanis Club of Kingston, I extend gratitude to you all for being a part of this celebration, for joining us this evening, for sharing and celebrating with us. Special thank you to DP Stuart Spencer and his team for conceptualizing this meeting and for putting it all together. And we can all say we thoroughly enjoyed it. Right. To our brothers of the Kiwanis Club of Kingston who shared their reflections, and not only did they share about their time, but they also charged us as young Kiwanians, as potential Kiwanians, to come and be a part and to share in the legacy and to leave our mark. So pretty soon we too will have such remarkable stories to share. So to PDT Ralston Nunez, DP Dalma James, DP Chris Robinson, VP Newton Ramdale, PD Trevor Ford, Director David Hall, Chairman Dr. Andrew Burton, DLGE Stanley Donwell, and DLG Willie Reeson. Thank you all for your reflections this evening. Thank you to our specially invited guests for their support, their well wishes, and for sharing through tributes. LG Rosemary Henry, LGE Lloyd Distant, DT Jelaine Lumsden Manderson, and IPP Nadine Crossman for KIT Hope Marks. Thank you so much for always being with us, for supporting us, and we look forward to your continued support. To Jody K. Martin and Tevin Gibbons for their musical stylings that added rhythm, flair, and it had most of us rocking, swaying, or even nodding off. Thank you. You helped to color and you helped to make this evening's celebration that more special. Again, to everyone who was a part, thank you. And we look forward to your continued support as we continue to serve the children, the youth of our world. Thank you.
Well said.
Well done, well done, well done.
Well done, yes.
Well done, well done.
Excellent, excellent.
Yes. Thank you very much, Kiwan and Zuri. And I mean, yes, we have to live up to those words. So in the next 10 years from now or 15 years from now, you will be in a similar position, taking us down memory lane as the Kiwanis Club celebrates its 75th anniversary. I'll now call on Sergeant at Arms Earl Spencer at this time.
Good night, fellow Kiwanians and guests. Tonight, don't worry, you're not going to get any like that. But I must congratulate, first of all, DLG Willie on his new tonsorial look. I'm sure when he looks in the mirror, he's going to revisit that tonsorial artist more often. Looking good, Willie. The past director, Trevor.
Maybe you need a hair.
Past director, Trevor. Some of us really remember the Waterloo things, meetings. And especially the time when you were declaring to us that you were the boss in the house. And then your wife overheard and said, "What's that?" She wasn't sure she heard right. And he said, "Oh, just telling them that I'm the boss when you are not here." So that's some of the camaraderie and fun we used to have those days. Not all of us Kiwanians, though, had looked forward to women coming into the club. You know why? Not that we don't like the women here, but when we put on our spots, the wine and cheese and so on, it's the wives used to do the work. And we looked good. And when they formed a club of their own, oh Lord, we were in trouble. And that's what we thought. So that's one of the reasons why we stuck out. We form a club for women because we can't keep them out of Kiwanis. But we knew it was selfish. We really wanted them to work with us. And they have worked with us, and we are enjoying them over the years. Well, Kingston Club being 58 years old, naturally we're aging gracefully, but many of the jokes you hear have to be old too, because how else you would know. But I've learned some things as I also age with the club, that old age is an excellent time for outrage. And my goal is to say or do at least one outrageous thing every week. So I wonder if you would be willing to take one outrageous thing, even though some have heard it already. By the way, old age actually comes at a bad time. And I just want to remind you of this killer whale and the two killer whales that were swimming in the ocean. And you've heard this one before, but I'm sure many haven't. And they were really concerned. They saw a whaler. So a whaler and then they said, the male whale said to the female whale, "Isn't that those people who killed our father?" She said, "Yes." He said, "I think we have a plan, I want us to swim under the ship, blow up some bubbles and capsize it. We should get some revenge there." She said, "Good idea." So they swam under the ship and blew up bubbles, and surely the ship did overturn. So they were swimming away, happy, and then the male whale said, "Hey, but see some sailors getting away, let's go gobble up a few." She said, "Oh no, I agreed about the blowjob, but I ain't gonna swallow no semen." That's it for the night, guys.
Fine.
All right.
President, a huge fine for that one.
Yes, yes.
Again, I'm going to tell Father about you. I have
That's two times now for me now.
Next frame, DLG.
Earl should cover all the fine.
Let me the lawyer. You the lawyer. You the lawyer. You the lawyer.
I say nothing.
Thank you, Walston. Say nothing, please.
Bev, do what you have to do.
I will.
Father, same want to see me too, you know. So I hope you don't realize it's on the same subject.
Probably is yours.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much, DP Earl.
You're welcome.
Yes, yes. We will move on to notices and announcements and interclubbing opportunities. Secretary DLG Willie, over to you.
Thank you very much, President Paul. Very quickly, as we all are aware, the club celebrates its 58th birthday actually on Thursday. And to celebrate the club's birthday, we will be presenting a check to a young lady, Malika McDermott, whose mother died recently, and the board had agreed to give her some financial assistance. This is a young lady who attends City College in New Kingston. Presentation of a check will be made at the Secretariat on Thursday morning at 10. At the same time, we'll be receiving a donation of school supplies from a family member of Gladstone, Pastor Director Gladstone Mallet, for our Builders Club. She's returning to the States on Friday, and she wants to make this presentation to us. As we know, Builders Club Week, we're currently celebrating. It will be culminating on Friday with a Builders Club rally. Details of the Builders Club rally and the link have been posted on the group by distinguished President Desmond Batchelor. Just a reminder, this coming Sunday, Divisional Council meeting, second quarter, an election of a Lieutenant Governor-elect for the administrative year 2022 to 2023. This begins at 9:30. It's going to be a hybrid meeting. The link will be sent to the members in the group come tomorrow. Just a reminder, so it's important, members, that we attend or give our support to the delegates. And we want Kiwanis Club of Kingston to have a very strong presence on Sunday. Just a reminder of the All Island Convention at the Bahia Principe on July 30th to August 1. Details as well as the costing for the convention have been posted on the WhatsApp group. District Convention, ECNC District Convention. Registration will be open shortly. It's from the 19th of August to the 21st in Fredericton, Nova Scotia. Let's quickly do interclubbing opportunities. Hopefully tomorrow we can interclub in New Kingston at 6 p.m. And the big one on Thursday, March 24th, Kiwanis Club of North St. Andrew will be celebrating the 48th anniversary and that, or coming the 40th anniversary celebration. That meeting is at 6 as well. President Paul, those are announcements for the time being. I don't know if there's any visitors or guests that may want to make announcement at this time. Over to you.
Yes, thank you very much, Secretary DLG Willie. Well, if no one wishes to make any announcement at this time, I will call on DP Stewart to give us a thought for the week as we close off this anniversary meeting of the Kiwanis Club of Kingston. DP Stewart.
Okay, thank you, President Paul. I just have two short ones. It was Socrates who said, "We cannot live better than in seeking to become better." And then this one is a quote by Jimi Hendrix. It says, "When the power of love overcomes the love of power, the world will know peace." And especially in these times, you know, people should remember that. Thank you, President Paul. Back to you.
Yes, thank you very much, DP Stewart. And thanks to everyone that who take the time out this evening to be with us. I really appreciate your presence. And as I said, we have choices to make, and I appreciate you taking the time to be with the Kiwanis Club of Kingston on our 58th anniversary. At this time, I'm going to ask that you raise a toast to Kiwanis International, and to Jamaica Land We Love. This meeting of the Kiwanis Club of Kingston is now terminated at 9:46 p.m.
And we love.
Yes, yes, yes.
Nice meeting.
Nice
Yep.
All the reflections.
Yes. I want to
Good
thank.
meeting, President Paul. Good meeting, Stu.
Thanks for the invitation, President Paul.
Okay,
Very
thank
good
you.
reflection this evening.
Yes, thank you very much.
Congratulations again on your 58.
58, yes. You are 48, we are 58.
Yes.
Ralston, could you repeat what you said? I didn't hear you at all.
And some.
No, I'm saying.
And somebody remember that the men of Kingston
Have big balls.
Yes, we have the biggest and the best balls in Jamaica.
Right.
Only have balls on Christmas.
That's what you think.